Logan Bruce from the Parallel Universe, and we are in the Square Table Studio, and I am with my good friend Dean Garris. Dean, how you doing today, buddy?
Fantastic. Happy to be here in the Square Table Studio.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Okay, so Dean, you're a local artist here in Raleigh, and
That's what they say.
so how long have you been drawing and things of that nature?
Well, I started drawing when I was a kid. I loved monsters and was into cartoons and comic strips and stuff, and then I got into comics. So I was drawing ever since I was a kid, and I drew all the way up until probably right out of high school into my early 20s. And after years of rejection letters, I kind of fell away from it and got into filmmaking, and have been doing that ever since. And then when the pandemic of 2020, the massive shutdowns happened, my event videography work kind of went bust for a year. So I had a lot of time on my hands and started drawing again and fell in love with it all over again.
Awesome. So we have a couple of your works here. Zoo, which I got a copy of at the NC Comic Con here in Durham.
Did you get a chance to read it yet?
I got a chance to read it. I love it. It's great. So tell us a little bit about Zoo here.
Well, Zoo was an attempt to kind of make something that was kind of all ages, family friendly. I do like the Wizard of Oz story. I like that concept of somebody going to a magical land, meeting magical friends, and then kind of going on an adventure. And I wanted to kind of do my own take on that in kind of a comic. So that's how Zool came to me. So I just thought of some interesting characters that would be fun to draw and fun to write, and tried to wrap a story around that.
Okay, I do appreciate the storyline here. To me, is that you can be friends with someone no matter where they're from or what they look like. I mean, and to get a friend, you have to be a friend. And
you know what? I wish I had wrote that in the comic. That's what they say.
Because in the beginning of the story, he wanted to make friends. He was at New School, and he wanted to know how to make friends, and he wasn't sure. He steps in the puddle, gets transported to another land, and he learns how to make friends. So then when he gets transferred back to his regular place, he sees another kid that falls into the puddle, or they trips or something like that, and then he reached out to him and introduced himself, just like he did with the characters that were here in the other land that he went to. So I thought that was a wonderful story about how to make friends, and you can make a friend out, no matter what someone looks like. So you don't judge a book by, the cover. So I really appreciate it, Zoo. I think it's a very wonderful story. Kids of all ages will love it. So you guys check this out. Check Zoo out. It's great. We're going to get all of Dean's information here in a minute. But you have another book here, The Lord of Dirt. I have not read this yet.
Sprung it on you.
Yeah, you sprung it on me. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, The Lord of Dirt was the first comic I started doing in 2020. I big fan of fantasy genre, sword and sandal, barbarians, all that kind of stuff. I love dragons and castles and knights. I love it all. And so I started working on I wanted to do a comic book, and I wanted to do a fantasy comic, so I started working on The Lord of Dirt. At present, I've got about 3 volumes out now. There's over 300 pages of this comic.
Wow.
Okay. It's a little daunting. I've got probably about 300 more to go until I hit the end of the series. But what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the first volume and I'm trying to split those up into issues, about 5 issues.
Okay.
And I'm making those myself. So I'm just taking some 8.5 by 11, regular printer paper, and printing them out front and back, and then kind of stapling them, folding, and trimming them myself. And I'll probably sell them at shows and wherever I go. So that's one of the copies you have right there. It's a little smaller than an average comic book, but that's because I'm printed it all on like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Okay.
And it's a fantasy story. It's big, epic. You know, there's it follows different characters at different points of view characters it follows, and it's got big world building backstories and ancient civilizations in the background and mystery and intrigue and if you like reading stuff that feels like the mysteries are unfolding as you read further.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this series is like.
Oh well, I'm definitely going to enjoy Lord of Dirt. So you said you've been working on this since 2020. You said.
Yeah.
Okay. So are any of the characters inspired by anybody or anything, or is just your whole love of comics and adventures and things like that inspired these characters?
Well, there's one of the main characters is Asha. It's a female character. She's the female protagonist, and she's kind of inspired by your kind of typical Disney princess. And so she also has like a talking rabbit that hangs out with her. It's people have told me it's very Bone-esque. But I wanted to take kind of the stereotypical like Disney female character, and instead of doing what Disney's doing nowadays, turning her into like Girl Boss or whatever, I want to throw her through the horror ringer. So it's kind of like a monkey's paw. Her story's kind of like the monkey's paw, where you make a wish on something and you get your wish, but it's not exactly how you envision it. So her story kind of unfolds in that regard. And then there's another character called Timon, who's the other protagonist. And he's just kind of a lowly guy who goes around, stumbles into one thing after another. And, the whole damn story, sorry, I don't mean to cuss, but the whole damn story just might be about him. Okay. We don't know. But he starts out as kind of a lowly guy who just kind of stumbles into the story.
Okay.
And so the way the Lord of Dirt works is that there are like two storylines happening, and they intersect occasionally throughout the story. And then at the end of the series, they'll all kind of converge together.
Oh man, well I'm definitely looking forward to reading this.
Yeah, please check it out.
I definitely will. So if anybody wanted to, get a copy of the Zool or Lord of Dirt, how can they reach out to you, or where can they find your information?
Well, right now the physical copies of the books I have are only available at shows like NC Comic Con that we were at. I am going to try and get digital copies of the books on my website. It was on there, but I had some problems with the website host.
Okay.
So I had to kind of rework the website. Some of my pages, like my merchant stuff, kind of fell off.
Okay.
So I have to kind of fix that up. But yeah, find me at a show. I'm sure if you just follow me on the website, subscribe to the website, all the latest information on where I'm at, what I'm doing, how things are available, are communicated in the newsletter.
Okay, newsletter. And what website is that?
That's my website at Dean, DEAN, Garris, GARRIS.com /launch, LAUNCH.
All right, there you go, you guys. You heard it here from Mr. Dean Garris himself. You can check out Lord of Dirt at a show. Follow him on that website, and you can find him, and you can also check out Zool. And there, I know this is good, so I know this is going to be good as well. So you guys, check out Mr. Dean Garris. Enjoy his work. The artwork is wonderful. The storytelling is great. He's a wonderful guy. He took time out of his busy schedule to come hang out with me in the Square Table Studio. So check him out, you guys, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You're gonna love it. So Dean, I really appreciate you coming by.
Thank you for having me, Logan. I'm excited to be on the Parallel Universe, and I gotta ask you, what does the Parallel Universe mean?
Okay, the Parallel Universe is like if you look at anime and cartoons and comics and everything, everything has an Earth, but you never see, unless it's a crossover, you never see like Goku, mixing in with Transformers. You don't see, Skeletor, even though he's on a different planet, mixing in with G.I. Joe. You don't see any of these people acting out together. Even, the comic book characters. You don't see Thor with Superman, unless they have a crossover. But then they cross over into one another's Earths. Mm-hmm. So all these cartoons, comics, and sci-fi adventures, animes, they're all parallel to each other. So, but they're all part of one universe. So, the parallel universe. That's where we got it, because it's the genre that I love. I love cartoons, comics, and sci-fi. So,
you and I probably, when we were kids, in our minds, they were always crossing over.
Yeah, always. Because, we made them cross over. I always had Lion-O fighting a Transformer or a G.I. Joe, messing with somebody from Marvel Comics. You was always playing with those action figures, and just doing different things.
Yeah,
so.
Soundwave was definitely part of Skeletor's crew in my play style.
yes, he had to be. So that's where the parallel universe came from. And actually, my youngest daughter came up with the name. And when she came up with it, I was like, I don't like that. But then she said, Daddy, think about it. And when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, she's right. So here we are, the parallel universe. And, this shirt is kind of a gimmick because, it is the parallel universe. So you read it one way, parallel universe, but then if you go and look in the mirror, it's the parallel universe. So no matter, where you're looking at, you're always going to see the parallel universe. And, a lot of times in these cartoons and comics and stuff, a mirror is always like a gateway to another world. So.
Or a puddle.
Yeah, or a puddle. But so there you go. So if he would have looked down and had a shirt on, he would still saw the parallel universe. So, this is the logo, and that's where it came from, man. Nice. So I appreciate it. So you guys, Mr. Dean Garris here. Check out his work. You're gonna love it. And as always, we'll see you in the parallel universe.